Paul, having addressed the doctrinal error of the Judaizers, will now set out on another course of correction concerning doctrine. He will address those who use their freedom in Christ as license to sin. This is what he's going to be talking about. Does anybody know what that is known as? It's a big long term. The Antinomian Heresy. Okay? Antinomian is a word that means without law, completely. And then Timonian, whatever. It's completely, you are free. So you can sin. Okay? Because, read it again, he will address those who use freedom in Christ as a license to sin. And there are people that actually teach this all over. You know, you go to churches and they actually say, well, you're saved and so you can sin. Okay? Now, there's a problem with this, is because I teach eternal salvation. People will accuse me of saying that, well, then you can do anything you want and you're not going to lose your salvation. And that is true. But that does not mean that you are to do that. And there's a difference between the two. But they, on the side that say you can lose your salvation, will lump all of that onto you and say, see, you teach that. That's not at all what I teach. I teach that Paul says, don't do this, you are to do this, blah, 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 right? But they will tell people that because somebody says you can't lose your salvation, that they are teaching license to sin. So Paul has already said you can't lose your salvation by telling you that you are sealed forever, okay? Now he is going to tell you that you are not free to sin. You can sin, but you are not free to sin. And there's a difference between the two. So when somebody tries that, that's called a red herring. You're walking down a path with a dog and the dog is chasing somebody. Well, somebody doesn't want to get caught, so they take a red herring and they drag it across the path. And all of a sudden, the dog goes off this way instead of going the path where he actually is going. Everybody got that? That's what a red herring is, okay?